Good evening, dear listener. Settle into your quiet corner, let the world fade, and imagine a soft breeze carrying the scent of wet earth and rice paddies. Under a sky bruised with dawn. You're not in your familiar bed but in a humble village of Han, China, around 100 C. The air is cool, the stars are fading. And you're about to discover why surviving a single day here is no small feat. Picture the gentle rustle of bamboo, the distant crow of a rooster, and the weight of a world that's both ancient and unrelenting. This is your story, told in whispers, to lull you into a dreamlike journey through history. You wake on a straw mat. The kind that prickles your skin and smells faintly of dust. Your hut is small, its walls of packed earth cool to the touch. Outside, the village stirs, a chorus of clucking hens, the creak of wooden carts, and the soft thud of bare feet on dirt paths. You're a farmer, one of countless souls tied to the land under the Han Dynasty's sprawling rule. The air tastes of dew and smoke, and as you step outside, the first rays of sunlight gild the endless fields of rice stretching before you. It's serene, almost poetic. Until you remember the work ahead. Your stomach grumbles, but breakfast is a distant hope. The fields come first. You grab a worn hoe, its handle smoothed by years of calloused hands, and trudge toward the paddies. The mud squelches under your feet, cool and slick, like stepping into a half-forgotten dream. The Han Dynasty, you've heard, is a golden age, roads built, trade flourishing, the emperor's palace gleaming somewhere far away. But here, in this village, life is a cycle of labor and obligation. You plant, you harvest, you pay taxes, and you pray the rains come on time. Speaking of taxes, they're due soon, and the thought makes your shoulders sag. Last year, you gave nearly half your grain to the local official, who rode off in a cart while you tightened your belt. Golden age, you mutter, and the wind carries your sarcasm away. The rice paddies shimmer under the rising sun, each stalk bending slightly. Like a crowd bowing to an invisible king. You swing your hoe, breaking the earth, your back already aching. The work is rhythmic, almost meditative, but there's no escaping the math in your head. One bad harvest, one missed tax payment, and you're selling your land, or worse, yourself, into servitude. The Han government loves its records, you've heard. They count every grain, every soul, every coin. Somewhere in the capital, a scribe is probably writing your name on a bamboo slip, tallying your worth. It's oddly flattering, in a grim sort of way. Like being noticed by a god who only cares about your debts. As you work, a neighbor passes, his face etched with the same weariness. Heard the emperor's building another tomb, he says, spitting into the mud. More taxes for us, I bet. You nod, unsure if it's true. The Han rulers are obsessed with the afterlife, constructing massive tombs filled with clay soldiers and jade treasures. You wonder what it's like to believe in an eternity so grand. Your own afterlife, you joke to yourself, will probably involve weeding an endless field. The thought makes you chuckle, though the mud sucking at your feet feels like it's already claiming you for eternity. The sun climbs higher, and sweat beads on your brow. You pause, wiping your face with a rag that's seen better days. Across the field, children chase each other, their laughter a fleeting reminder of joy. One of them trips, landing face first in the mud, and you stifle a laugh. Kids are the same everywhere, aren't they? Even in 100C, they find a way to make a mess. But their playtime is short. Soon they'll be out here, hose in hand, learning the rhythm of survival. You shake your head, wondering if your own children will inherit this same patch of earth, this same grind. A curious detail catches your eye, a small clay figure half buried in the dirt. You kneel, brushing it clean. It's a crude statue. Maybe a charm left by some villager to appease the spirits of the land. The Han people believe in a world alive with gods and ghosts, and every field, every river, has its guardian. You tuck the figure into your pocket, unsure if it's lucky or just another weight to carry. Superstition is as common as rice here, and you're not about to anger a spirit over a hunch. Historians still debate whether the Han Dynasty's tax system was as crushing as the records suggest. Some argue it fueled prosperity, building roads and canals. Others say it broke the backs of farmers like you, pushing many into rebellion. The truth, as always, lies in the mud, somewhere between survival and surrender. You don't have time to ponder it. The sun is high now, and the fields won't tend themselves. You swing your hoe again, the rhythm pulling you forward, one stroke at a time. The morning stretches on, and the village hums with life. A dog barks, a cartwheel squeaks, and somewhere, an old woman sings a tune older than the dynasty itself. You glance at the sky, hoping for clouds. Rain would be a blessing. But too much could drown your crop. Nature, like the emperor, doesn't care about your plans. You smirk, imagining a tax on bad weather. Wouldn't that be just your luck? For now, you keep working. The earth beneath you a reminder of both life and burden. This is your world, and surviving it, even for a day, is a quiet kind of heroism. The sun is higher now. Its warmth seeping into your bones as you labor in the rice paddies. The air hums with the faint buzz of insects, and the scent of wet earth clings to your skin, grounding you in this ancient world. Your hoe rises and falls, each swing a quiet prayer for a good harvest. The village, nestled under a soft haze, feels both alive and eternal, like a painting you've stepped into. But the weight of survival presses on you, heavier than the mud caking your feet. You're a farmer in Han China, and the empire's demands are as relentless as the sun above. Your hands, rough and callous, grip the hoe tighter as you think about the taxes. The Han Dynasty runs on grain, and farmers like you are its lifeblood. Last season, you hauled sacks of rice to the local granary, watching as the officials' men weighed each one with cold precision. You got a slip of bamboo in return, etched with numbers you couldn't read, and a vague promise that your contribution served the emperor. Served him well, you suppose, considering the rumors of silk robes and jade palaces in the capital, Luoyang. You, meanwhile, went home to a bowl of thin millet porridge. Long live the emperor! You murmur, your voice dripping with just enough irony to feel rebellious. The rhythm of your work is interrupted by a distant shout. You glance up, squinting against the light. A neighbor, old Zhang, is arguing with his son near the edge of the field. Something about a broken plow and not enough coins to fix it. You shake your head, sounds familiar. Tools break, debts grow, and the tax collector never misses a visit. The Han system is meticulous, with officials crisscrossing the empire to count households, crops, and livestock. You've heard they even tax salt, which feels like taxing the air you breathe. You chuckle softly, imagining a clerk somewhere tallying your every sneeze. As you dig, you unearth a small, smooth stone, oddly shaped like a fish. You turn it over in your hand, wondering if it's a relic from some long-forgotten ritual. The Han people love their omens, stones, clouds, even the way a bird flies can mean fortune or doom. Old John would probably say it's a sign to sell your land and run. You slip the stone into your pocket, next to that clay figure from earlier. Remember that charm you found in the mud? It's still there, a quiet reminder of the spirits watching over these fields. Or maybe it's just junk. Either way, you're not tossing it. The main event of your morning comes without fanfare. A messenger rides into the village, his horse kicking up dust. He pins a notice to the communal board near the well, and a crowd gathers, muttering. You wipe your brow and join them, curious but wary. The notice, written in crisp characters, demands an extra levy of grain to fund a new canal project. The emperor's engineers are digging waterways to boost trade, you've heard. But all you see is another chunk of your harvest gone. The crowd grumbles, but no one dares speak too loudly. The Han Dynasty doesn't take kindly to dissent. And spies are everywhere, even in a village this small. You trudge back to the field, the news settling like a stone in your gut. The canal might help someone, somewhere, but not you. Your rice needs water now, not promises of future prosperity. You swing your hoe harder, as if you could bury your frustration in the earth. A dragonfly darts past, its wings glinting like tiny jewels, and for a moment you're distracted by its grace. It's the kind of beauty that makes you pause, even in a world this harsh. You smirk, thinking how you'd trade a year's taxes for wings like that. Historians still debate whether the Han tax system sparked more rebellions than it funded projects. Some say it built an empire. Others argue it sowed the seeds of unrest, with farmers pushed to the brink. You don't know the big picture, but you feel the truth in your aching back and empty pockets. The empire's glory is built on your sweat, and that's no metaphor. It's the mud on your hands, the hunger in your belly. A breeze stirs the rice stalks, and you catch a whiff of something sweet, wildflowers, maybe, growing near the ditch. It's a small gift, a reminder that the world keeps turning, taxes or not. You glance at the village, where smoke curls from chimneys and children play in the dust. Life goes on, stubborn as the weeds you pull from the paddies. You joke to yourself that if the emperor taxed resilience, you'd be bankrupt by now. The thought makes you smile, but it's a tired smile, worn thin by the morning's work. As noon approaches, your stomach growls, loud enough to scare the dragonflies. You're tempted to sneak a handful of rice from the field, but you know better. Stealing from your own crop feels like stealing from the emperor, and that's a risk you can't take. You wipe your face with your rag, the same one you used earlier, now damp with sweat. The sun is merciless, but the work isn't done. You keep moving, one swing at a time, the rhythm pulling you through. Surviving a day in Han China means enduring these moments, where every step feels like defiance against a world that demands too much. The sun hangs heavy in the sky, its heat pressing against your shoulders as you pause in the rice paddies. The air is thick with the scent of mud and green stalks, and a faint shimmer of warmth rises from the earth. Your hands, gritty with dirt, rest on your hoe, and you catch your breath, the rhythm of labor momentarily broken. The village hums in the distance, soft voices, the clatter of a cart, the occasional bark of a dog. You're deep in the heart of Han China, 100C, and the weight of the empire is about to tighten its grip on your quiet morning. You squint toward the village, where the messenger's notice still flaps on the communal board. That extra grain levy for the canal project lingers in your mind, a bitter aftertaste to an already grueling day. But a new shadow looms, one that makes taxes seem almost trivial. Word spreads like wildfire through the fields. A military conscription order has arrived. The emperor needs soldiers to guard the northern borders, where nomadic tribes stir unrest. You hear the news from a passing farmer, his voice low, as if speaking it aloud might summon the recruiters faster. Your stomach twists. You're of age, able-bodied, and exactly the kind of man the Han army wants. You try to focus on your work, driving your hoe into the mud with a little too much force. Military service is no small thing. 2 years, maybe more, far from home, with a spear in your hand and the promise of death on some windswept steppe. You've heard stories, men who left as farmers and came back broken, or didn't come back at all. The Han Dynasty prides itself on its disciplined armies, its walls stretching across mountains, but to you, it's just another demand on your already stretched life. You mutter to yourself, "First they take my rice, now they want my bones." The sarcasm feels good, like a tiny rebellion against the empire's endless hunger. As you work, you notice something odd, a small, discarded arrowhead, half buried in the dirt. You pick it up, its edges dulled by time, and wonder if it's from a long-ago skirmish or just a hunter's lost shot. The Han Empire is vast, but not peaceful. Border wars, bandit raids, and rebellions keep the military busy. You tuck the arrowhead into your pocket, next to the clay figure and fish-shaped stone from earlier. Remember that charm you found in the paddy? It's starting to feel like a collection of omens, though you're not sure if they're good or bad. You smirk, thinking you'd trade them all for a draft exemption. The conscription order is the day's main event, a stark reminder of the emperor's reach. Every man between 15 and 60 is eligible, and exemptions are rare. Unless you're rich enough to bribe an official or clever enough to fake a limp. You're neither. The village elders will draw names soon. And you can already imagine the dread settling over every household. Your neighbor, old Zhang, passes by again, his face grim. "My boy's name is on the list," he says, spitting into the dirt. You nod, unsure what to say. Your own name might be next, and the thought makes the paddy feel like a trap closing around you. A breeze stirs, carrying the faint scent of wild mint from a nearby ditch. You inhale deeply, letting it calm your racing thoughts. The fields are beautiful in their way, each stalk swaying like a dancer in some ancient ritual. You try to lose yourself in the work. But the conscription notice gnaws at you. You joke to yourself that maybe the army needs farmers more than soldiers. Someone has to feed all those spearmen. The thought makes you chuckle, though it's a hollow sound, swallowed by the vastness of the fields. Historians still debate whether the Han military drafts crippled rural communities or strengthened the empire's borders. Some argue the system kept the dynasty secure. Others say it drained villages, leaving fields fallow and families broken. You don't care about the big picture, you just want to stay here. With your mud and your hoe, not marching to some distant war. The empire's glory means little when it's your life on the line. You glance at the village again, where a small crowd lingers near the notice board. A woman, probably someone's mother, wipes her eyes with her sleeve. You look away, focusing on the earth beneath your feet. The mud is cool, almost soothing, and you dig deeper, as if you could hide from the emperor's call. A bird flits overhead, its wings a blur, and you envy its freedom. You imagine attacks on birds, just to make the empire's greed complete, and the absurdity makes you smile faintly. The day stretches on, and your back aches from hours of bending. Your hands are stained with earth, your clothes damp with sweat. The conscription order has changed the village's rhythm, turning every conversation into a whisper of worry. You keep working, because stopping feels like surrender. The rice paddies stretch endlessly before you, a sea of green under a sky that doesn't care about your fate. You swing your hoe, the motion steady, almost defiant. Surviving a day in Han China means carrying this fear, this labor, and still finding a way to stand upright. The sun leans toward midday, painting the rice paddies with a golden glow that feels almost too perfect for the weight in your chest. The air carries the faint tang of wood smoke and the earthy musk of turned soil, wrapping you in the familiar embrace of your village in Han China, 100C. Your hoe rests against your shoulder as you straighten up, wiping sweat from your brow with a rag that's more dirt than cloth. The conscription notice still lingers in your mind, a dark cloud over the morning's labor. But hunger and curiosity pull you toward the village. It's time to visit the market, where gossip and goods trade hands as freely as coins. You trudge along a dirt path, the mud drying into crusty patches on your feet. The village market is a lively sprawl near the center, where stalls of bamboo and straw offer everything from millet to clay pots. As you approach, the air shifts, alive with the chatter of voices, the clink of bronze coins, and the sharp scent of ginger and dried fish. It's a welcome change from the solitude of the fields. Though you're not here to buy much, your purse is as light as your spirits. You weave through the crowd, your eyes scanning the stalls, each one a small window into the empire's heartbeat. The market is a microcosm of Han society, and you feel the divides keenly. Wealthy merchants, their robes dyed in soft blues, barter for silk and lacquered boxes, while farmers like you haggle over bruised vegetables. A noblewoman passes, carried in a litter, her face hidden behind a silk screen. You step aside, lowering your gaze as custom demands. The Han Dynasty loves its hierarchies, emperor above all, then nobles, scholars, merchants, and you, the farmer, somewhere near the bottom. You mutter under your breath, "At least the mud doesn't care who I am." The irony curls your lips into a faint smirk. At a stall piled with turnips, you overhear a heated whisper, rumors of court intrigue in Luoyang, where eunuchs and scholars vie for the emperor's ear. Someone claims the emperor's latest edict, Maybe that canal project or the conscription order came from a dream sent by the heavens. You roll your eyes. Dreams don't fill your granary or keep your name off the draft list. Still, the gossip is a distraction, as addictive as the sesame cakes you can't afford. You move on. Your stomach growling loud enough to earn a glance from a nearby vendor. "Hungry?" she asks, waving a steamed bun. You shake your head, joking to yourself that hunger is just the Empire's way of keeping you light on your feet. Something catches your eye, a small, oddly shaped bronze token, half buried in the dirt near a stall. You pick it up, its surface etched with a faint dragon design. It's probably a merchant's tally, used to track debts or goods, but you wonder if it's a charm for wealth. The Han love their symbols, dragons for power, turtles for longevity. You slip it into your pocket, next to the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, an arrowhead from earlier. Remember that little statue you found in the paddy? Your pocket's turning into a museum of forgotten things, each one a quiet mystery. You chuckle, thinking you're collecting more trinkets than luck. The market's main event unfolds without warning. A minor official arrives, his robe crisp and his entourage loud. He's here to inspect the stalls, ensuring taxes are paid and weights are honest. The crowd parts, and you feel the tension ripple through the air. This is Han governance in action, petty, precise, and inescapable. The official pauses at a fishmonger's stall, pointing at a scale that looks suspiciously light. The vendor stammers, and you wince, knowing a fine is coming. You've seen this before, the Empire's hand, always reaching, always taking. You slip away, not eager to catch the official's eye. A breeze carries the scent of jasmine from a nearby cart, and you pause, letting it soothe your nerves. The market is chaotic, but there's beauty in its mess. Bright stacks of radishes, the gleam of polished bronze, the laughter of children darting between stalls. You spot a boy sneaking a plum from a basket and grin. Kids, you think, are the real rebels here. You join them, but your own rebellion is limited to sarcastic thoughts about tax collectors. Historians still debate whether the Han markets were engines of prosperity or hotbeds of exploitation. Some say they knit SW1 linked up trade routes. Others argue they enriched elites while squeezing the poor. You don't need scrolls to know the truth. You feel it in the coins you don't have, the taxes you can't escape. The market is a lifeline, but it's also a mirror, reflecting a world where survival means playing by the Empire's rules. As you leave the market, clutching a cheap bundle of greens, the sun dips lower, casting long shadows. You head back to the fields, the weight of the day settling deeper into your bones. The village feels quieter now, the market's energy fading like a half-remembered dream. You joke to yourself that if the emperor taxed gossip, the market would fund a new palace. The thought makes you smile, but it's a weary smile, tinged with the reality of your world. Surviving a day in Han China means navigating these moments, where hope and hardship walk hand in hand, and every step is a quiet act of endurance. The sun begins its slow descent, casting a warm amber glow over the village as you leave the market behind, your bundle of greens tucked under your arm. The air is softer now, laced with the faint sweetness of wildflowers and the distant smoke of cooking fires. Your feet, still caked with mud from the morning's work, carry you back along the dirt path, the rhythm of your steps blending with the hum of cicadas. You're in Han China, 100C, a farmer caught in the Empire's vast web, and the weight of the day is starting to feel like a second skin. The market's buzz fades, but a new challenge looms, the invisible rules that govern every word, every gesture, every moment of your life. You pass a group of villagers, their heads bowed in quiet conversation. One of them, a woman with a basket of laundry, glances at you, and you nod, a small, careful gesture. In this world, every interaction is a dance, choreographed by the Han Dynasty's obsession with propriety. The teachings of Confucius you've heard shape the empire's soul: respect your elders, honor your family, know your place. It sounds noble, but in practice, it's a labyrinth of expectations. You're not just a farmer, You're a son, a neighbor, a subject, and one misstep could brand you as unfilial or, worse, disloyal. You mutter to yourself. Easier to please the emperor than my aunt. The sarcasm is your shield, a whisper of defiance against a world that demands perfection. As you walk, you notice a small shrine by the path, its wooden frame weathered but adorned with fresh offerings, dried fruit, a sprig of herbs. You pause, bowing slightly, more out of habit than faith. The shrine honors the village's ancestors, and neglecting it would invite gossip faster than missing a tax payment. Social rules here are as binding as law. And you've seen people shunned for less. A man who spoke too loudly to his father, a woman who laughed at the wrong time. You shake your head, thinking of the market's noblewoman in her litter. Rules for her are silk, for you they're iron. Something catches your eye, a broken piece of pottery near the shrine, its edge painted with a faint lotus design. You pick it up, turning it over in your hand. It's probably from a ritual offering, discarded when it cracked. The Han love their ceramics, even the simplest ones carrying a touch of art. You slip it into your pocket, next to the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, arrowhead, and bronze token from earlier. Remember that little statue you found in the paddy? Your collection grows. Each piece a fragment of this world's strange beauty. You smirk, joking to yourself that you're one shard away from opening a museum, or a junk stall. The day's main event creeps up subtly, like a shadow lengthening across the fields. You overhear a neighbor scolding her son for slouching during a visit from an elder. You glance at the village, where smoke curls lazily from chimneys and children dart between houses, their laughter a fleeting rebellion against the weight of duty. You joke to yourself that if the emperor taxed bad posture, you'd be in chains by now. The thought brings a faint smile, but it's tinged with exhaustion. The rules of Han society are a constant hum in the background, shaping every moment. And surviving a day here means navigating them with the precision of a scholar and the endurance of a farmer. The afternoon sun dips lower, bathing the village in a soft, golden haze that makes the world feel like a half-remembered dream. You've left the path behind and now stand at the edge of the rice paddies, your bundle of greens tucked away for later. The air is warm, heavy with the scent of earth and the faint rustle of bamboo swaying in the breeze. You're a farmer in Han China, 100C, and the morning's burdens, taxes, conscription, social rules, cling to you like the mud on your feet. But for now, you seek a moment's respite, a chance to eat and breathe before the fields call you back. You find a spot under a cluster of tray, their slender shadows offering a sliver of coolness. You sit, cross-legged, on a patch of dry grass, the ground firm beneath you. From a small cloth sack, you pull a humble lunch, a cold millet cake, tough as leather, and a few strips of pickled radish. The first bite is bland, but it's fuel, and you chew slowly, savoring the quiet. The patties stretch before you, their green waves rippling in the wind, and for a moment, the empire's demands feel distant. The air carries a hint of wild mint, and you inhale deeply, letting it soothe the ache in your chest. As you eat, your mind wanders to the stories you've heard since childhood, tales of spirits and heroes that seem to linger in the bamboo's whisper. One story, half-remembered, tells of a fox spirit who haunts these fields, granting wishes to those who leave offerings but cursing the greedy. You glance at the clay figure in your pocket. That little charm you found in the mud. Remember it? You wonder if it's tied to such a spirit, or if it's just a villager's lost trinket. You smirk, thinking you'd wish for a tax-free year. Though knowing your luck, the fox would probably demand interest. Your lunch is interrupted by a soft rustle nearby. You freeze, half expecting a spirit, but it's just a stray cat, its eyes glinting as it darts into the undergrowth. You chuckle, shaking your head. Cats, you've noticed, have it better than farmers. No taxes, no drafts, just the occasional mouse to chase. The Han Dynasty doesn't bother with them, which is more than you can say for yourself. You take another bite of millet, the texture gritty against your teeth, and let your gaze drift to the horizon, where the paddies meet a line of low hills. The main event of this moment is quiet but profound, a rare pause in your day, a chance to reflect on the life you're bound to. The Han Empire, you've heard, is a marvel. Its scholars map the stars, its engineers build canals, its armies hold back the wilderness. But here, under the bamboo, you're reminded that this grandeur rests on the backs of people like you. Your labor feeds the empire, yet you're invisible to the scribes in Luoyang, your name just a mark on a bamboo slip. You mutter to yourself, "Maybe I'll carve my name on a tree, see if that lasts longer." The sarcasm feels good, a flicker of defiance in a world that demands your silence. Something catches your eye. A small, oddly twisted root, unearthed by the wind and lying in the grass. You pick it up, its shape vaguely resembling a man's face, complete with a knot that looks like a scowl. It's the kind of thing villagers might call a sign, maybe a warning from the earth itself. You add it to your pocket, alongside the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, arrowhead, bronze token, and pottery shard from earlier. Your collection is growing, each piece a tiny rebellion against the Empire's order, a reminder that this world holds more than taxes and rules. You joke to yourself that if you keep this up, you'll need a bigger pocket, or a cart. Historians still debate whether the Han Dynasty's rural life was as grueling as the records suggest. Some argue farmers found joy in their traditions and community. Others say the endless demands left little room for anything but survival. You don't know the scrolls, but you feel the truth in your calloused hands, your empty stomach. This moment under the bamboo is a stolen luxury, and you savor it, knowing the fields will call you back soon. A bird trills overhead, its song sharp and fleeting, and you tilt your head, watching it vanish into the sky. You envy its freedom, its ignorance of conscription notices and tax levies. The breeze stirs again, carrying the faint sound of children laughing in the village, and you smile faintly. Life persists, stubborn as the roots you pull from the paddies. You finish your millet cake, brushing crumbs from your hands, and stand, stretching your aching back. The fields wait, and so does the empire, but for now, you've claimed a sliver of peace. A quiet act of resistance in a world that asks too much. The afternoon deepens, and the sky takes on a softer hue, like a scroll brushed with fading ink. You stand at the edge of the rice paddies. Your brief lunch under the bamboo a fleeting memory. The air is warm, scented with the green tang of rice stalks and the distant promise of evening fires. Your hands, still gritty from the morning's work, grip your hoe once more, but your heart lifts slightly. Whispers of the coming mid-autumn festival ripple through the village. A rare spark of joy in the grind of Han China, 100 CE. You're a farmer, bound to the earth and the emperor's will, but even you can't resist the pull of celebration. You swing your hoe. The rhythm steady, as the village begins to hum with quiet anticipation. The festival, honoring the full moon, is a time for families to gather, eat mooncakes, and offer thanks to the heavens. You've heard the elders talk of Chang'e, the moon goddess who lives in a jade palace, her story woven into the night sky. It's a tale of love and sacrifice, and though you're no poet, it stirs something in you, a longing for something beyond the mud and taxes. You mutter to yourself, "Maybe Chang'e pays less rent up there." The sarcasm is soft, a private jest to keep the day's weight at bay. As you work, you notice the village transforming. Women sweep their courtyards, children string paper lanterns, and a faint scent of sesame and red bean paste drifts from someone's kitchen. The festival is a rare chance to pause, to remember that life isn't just labor. You imagine the mooncakes, dense, sweet, and far too expensive for your purse, but even a bite would be heaven. Your stomach grumbles, and you chuckle, thinking of the millet cake you ate earlier. Compared to mooncakes, it was like chewing a sandal. The Han Dynasty may tax your grain, but it can't tax your dreams of better food. Something catches your eye, a small, discarded ribbon, bright red, tangled in the grass near the paddy. You pick it up, its silk surprisingly soft against your calloused fingers. It's probably from a festival decoration, left behind by a careless child or a rushed vendor. The Han love their colors, red for luck, gold for wealth, and this ribbon feels like a tiny piece of the celebration. You tuck it into your pocket. Alongside the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, arrowhead, bronze token, pottery shard, and twisted root from earlier. Remember that charm you found in the mud? Your pocket's a treasure trove now. Each trinket a quiet defiance of the Empire's grey demands. You smirk, joking to yourself that you're one ribbon away from starting a festival of your own. The main event of this hour is the village's slow shift toward festivity, a communal act of hope amidst hardship. The Mid-Autumn Festival, you've heard, began centuries ago. Tied to harvests and lunar cycles, but under the Han, it's grown into a grand affair. Even the emperor, far off in Luoyang, is said to host lavish banquets under the moon. Here in your village, it's simpler: lanterns, songs, maybe a shared jug of rice wine if someone's feeling generous. But the conscription notice and tax levies still loom, casting a shadow over the preparations. You wonder if the moon goddess notices the Empire's greed, or if she's too busy with her jade rabbits. A breeze stirs, carrying the faint jingle of bells from a nearby cart. You glance up. Watching a group of children practice a dance for the festival, their steps clumsy but earnest. Their laughter is a balm, a reminder that joy can sprout even in hard soil. You pause, leaning on your hoe, and let the scene sink in, the paddies glowing under the softening light, the village alive with purpose, the promise of a full moon rising. It's beautiful, in a way that makes your chest ache. You joke to yourself that if the emperor taxed laughter, the children would bankrupt the dynasty. Historians still debate whether festivals like this were true respites for Han farmers or just distractions from systemic oppression. Some say they strengthened community bonds. Others argue they were fleeting escapes, like wine before a wound. You don't know the scrolls, but you feel the truth in the ribbon in your pocket, the hope it carries. The festival is a light in the dark, and you cling to it, knowing the fields and the Empire will demand your strength again tomorrow. As you return to your work, the sun sinks lower, painting the paddies with streaks of orange. The air grows cooler, and you catch a whiff of something sweet, maybe a neighbor baking for the festival. Your back aches, your hands are sore. But the thought of the full moon keeps you moving. You swing your hoe, each stroke a step toward evening, toward a night where, for a few hours, you might forget the Emperor's reach. Surviving a day in Han China means finding these moments, where the promise of joy outweighs the grind, if only for a heartbeat. The sun edges toward the horizon, its light softening into a warm glow that bathes the rice paddies in hues of amber and rose. You pause in your work, leaning on your hoe, the familiar ache in your back a quiet companion. The air is cooler now, carrying the scent of damp earth and the faint sweetness of festival preparations, sesame, rice flour, perhaps a hint of brewing wine. You're a farmer in Han China, 100 C. Caught in the Empire's relentless rhythm, but the Mid-Autumn Festival's promise lingers, a fragile thread of hope. Yet, as the village hums with anticipation, a darker note intrudes. One that reminds you just how tightly the Han Dynasty holds its people. You wipe your brow with your tattered rag, the same one you've used all day, now stiff with sweat and dirt. The paddies stretch before you, their green waves swaying gently, but your thoughts are pulled back to the village. A commotion stirs near the communal well. A cart has arrived, its wheels creaking under the weight of sacks and scrolls. It's no festival vendor, though. The man stepping down, his robe crisp and his posture rigid, is a tax official, here to collect the emperor's due. The air shifts, the festival's warmth dimming as villagers gather, their faces tight with resignation. You mutter to yourself, "Just what the moon needed, a tax man." The sarcasm is your armor, sharp but quiet. You trudge toward the village, drawn by curiosity and dread. The official sets up near the well. His assistant's unrolling bamboo slips to record every grain, every coin. The Han Dynasty's bureaucracy is a marvel. You've heard, thousands of officials tracking the Empire's wealth with ruthless precision. But here, it's not marvelous, it's suffocating. You join the crowd, keeping to the edges. your bundle of greens still tucked under your arm from the market. The official calls names, and one by one, villagers step forward, offering sacks of rice or millet. You watch a neighbor, old Zhang, hand over half his harvest, his shoulders sagging as the official's men weigh it with cold efficiency. Something catches your eye, a small, discarded tally stick, snapped in two, lying in the dust near the cart. You pick it up, its surface etched with faint notches, probably a record of someone's payment, now worthless. The Han love their tallies, using them to track debts, taxes, even military supplies. You slip it into your pocket, alongside the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, arrowhead, bronze token, pottery shard, twisted root, and red ribbon from earlier. Remember that charm you found in the paddy? Your pockets archive now, each piece a silent protest against the Empire's endless counting. You smirk, joking to yourself that you're collecting enough to bribe the official, or at least confuse him. The tax collection is the day's main event, a stark reminder of the Han system's reach. The Emperor's canals, armies, and palaces don't build themselves, and you're the one paying for them. You've heard whispers of corruption, officials skimming grain for their own coffers, leaving farmers like you to scrape by. Old Zhang catches your eye, his face grim as he walks away. They'll take the moon next, he grumbles, and you nod, feeling the weight of his words. The festival's lanterns and mooncakes seem distant now, overshadowed by the reality of survival. You wonder if Chang'e, the moon goddess, ever dealt with tax collectors in her jade palace. A breeze stirs, carrying the faint jingle of the official's bronze scales. You glance at the village, where children still string lanterns, their laughter a defiant spark against the gloom. It's a strange contrast, the festival's joy clashing with the taxman's shadow. You pause, letting the scene sink in, the patties glowing under the fading light. The official's cart like a stain on the village's heart, the promise of the full moon waiting. You joke to yourself that if the Emperor taxed dreams, you'd be bankrupt by morning. The thought brings a faint smile, but it's weary, worn thin by the day's demands. Historians still debate whether the Han tax system was a cornerstone of stability, or a spark for rebellion. Some say it funded progress, roads, canals, a unified empire. Others argue it crushed the rural poor, sowing discontent that would later erupt. You don't know the scrolls, but you feel the truth in the empty sacks, the tired faces around you. The Empire's glory is a distant star, and you're just trying to keep your family fed. As the official continues his work, you slip away, not eager to draw attention. The air grows cooler, and you catch a whiff of something sweet, someone's mooncake, baking for the festival. Your stomach grumbles, a reminder of the millet cake you choked down earlier. You head back to the fields, the tax official's presence lingering like a bad taste. The patties wait, as always, and you pick up your hoe, the rhythm pulling you forward. Surviving a day in Han China means enduring these moments, where hope and hardship collide. And every step is a quiet act of defiance against an empire that takes more than it gives. The sun has dipped below the horizon, leaving a twilight glow that softens the edges of the village. The air is cool now, scented with the faint musk of evening dew and the lingering warmth of cooking fires. You've left the tax official's grim spectacle behind, your hoe slung over your shoulder as you walk a winding path toward a small grove near the village. The Mid-Autumn Festival draws closer, and tonight, a quiet ritual at a local shrine promises a moment of peace. You're a farmer in Han China, 100C, weighed down by taxes and conscription fears. But the pull of faith and tradition offers a fleeting refuge. The grove is serene, its trees casting long shadows under the rising moon. A small crowd gathers around a stone altar, its surface worn smooth by generations of offerings. The air hums with soft murmurs and the faint crackle of burning incense, its sandalwood scent curling through the dusk. You join the villagers, your hands clasped respectfully, though your mind churns with the day's burdens. This ritual honors the local earth god, a deity said to guard the fields and bring good harvests. In a world of taxes and drafts, you're not above asking for a little divine help. You mutter to yourself, "If the god's taking bribes, I'm out of luck." The sarcasm is gentle, a whisper to keep your spirits afloat. The village elder, her face etched with years, leads the ceremony, chanting in a low, rhythmic cadence. She places a bowl of rice and a sprig of millet on the altar, offerings to coax the god's favor. You watch, struck by the blend of faiths here: Taoist beliefs in harmony with nature, Confucian respect for ritual, and older, earthier superstitions. The Han Dynasty, you've heard, encourages such practices, tying the empire's stability to the will of the heavens. But to you, it's less about cosmic order and more about hoping the rains come on time. You bow as the elder gestures, the motion automatic, ingrained by years of custom. Something catches your eye, a small, carved wooden charm, half hidden in the grass near the altar. You pick it up, its surface etched with a simple cloud pattern, likely dropped during a past ritual. The Han love their talismans, believing they channel luck or ward off spirits. You slip it into your pocket, alongside the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, arrowhead, bronze token, pottery shard, twisted root, red ribbon, and tally stick from earlier. Remember that little statue you found in the paddy? Your pocket's a shrine of its own now, each trinket a piece of this world's quiet magic. You smirk, joking to yourself that you're one charm away from summoning a god, or at least scaring the tax collector. The ritual is the evening's main event, a moment where the village turns inward, seeking solace in the divine. The elder's chants grows softer, and the crowd sways slightly, lulled by the rhythm. You feel the weight of the day: taxes, conscription, social rules, ease just a fraction. As if the earth god might actually be listening. Taoism teaches balance, you've heard, a dance between human struggle and nature's flow. You're not sure you believe it, but standing here, under the moon's pale light, you want to. The incense swirls, and for a moment, the empire's demands feel far away. A breeze stirs, carrying the faint sound of laughter from the village, where festival preparations continue. You glance toward the glow of lanterns, their soft light a promise of the celebration to come. The contrast is striking, this solemn ritual, rooted in duty, and the festival's joy, a fleeting escape. You pause, letting the scene sink in, the grove's quiet reverence, the altar's humble offerings, the moon climbing higher. You joke to yourself that if the emperor taxed prayers, the gods would go bankrupt. The thought brings a faint smile, but it's tinged with the day's weariness. Historians still debate whether Han religious practices unified communities or masked deeper tensions. Some say rituals like this strengthened social bonds, tying farmers to the empire's cosmic vision. Others argue they were desperate pleas from a people crushed by demands. You don't know the scrolls, but you feel the truth in the incense's curl. The elder's steady voice. Faith is a lifeline, fragile but stubborn, and you hold it close, knowing the fields await you tomorrow. As the ritual ends, the crowd disperses, their footsteps soft on the earth. You linger a moment, gazing at the altar, the offerings glinting under the moonlight. The air grows cooler, and you catch a whiff of something sweet, perhaps a neighbor's festival baking, drifting from the village. Your stomach grumbles, a reminder of the meager lunch you ate under the bamboo. You turn back toward the village, the shrine's peace lingering like a half-remembered dream. Surviving a day in Han China means finding these moments, where faith and hope weave through the hardship, offering a quiet strength to carry you forward. The moon climbs higher, its pale light spilling over the village like a silver veil. You walk back from the grove, the earth god's rituals still echoing in your mind, a quiet anchor amidst the day's storms. The air is crisp now, scented with the cool tang of night and the faint sweetness of festival preparations: roasted sesame, steaming rice, perhaps a hint of plum wine. Your hoe rests on your shoulder, its weight familiar. As you return to the rice paddies, you're a farmer in Han China, 100 CE, and though the mid-autumn festival beckons, the fields demand your strength. The empire never sleeps, and neither, it seems, do you. You reach the paddies, their stalks ghostly under the moonlight, swaying like whispers of a forgotten song. The work is endless, weeding, checking for pests, ensuring the water channels flow just right. You kneel, your hands brushing the cool, damp earth, searching for signs of blight. The silence is soothing, broken only by the soft gurgle of water and the distant hum of the village. Your back aches, your fingers are sore, but there's a strange peace in this labor. A rhythm that feels older than the Han Dynasty itself. You mutter to yourself, "The Emperor should try weeding sometime." The sarcasm is soft, a private jest to ease the grind. As you work, you think of the festival, its lanterns and mooncakes a world away from this muddy solitude. The village is alive with preparations, but out here, it's just you, the paddies, and the moon. You've heard stories of grand celebrations in Woyang, where scholars recite poetry and nobles feast under silk canopies. Your own festival will be humbler, a shared bowl of rice. Maybe a song if someone's voice holds up. You smirk, imagining attacks on moonlight. Wouldn't that be the Han way? The thought makes you chuckle, though the sound is swallowed by the night. Something catches your eye, a small, glinting object half buried in the mud. You dig it out, a tiny bronze bell, no bigger than a pebble, its surface tarnished but intact. It might have fallen from a cart, or been left as an offering to the field's spirits. The Han love their bells, using them in rituals or to signal the start of markets. You shake it gently, and it gives a faint, tinny chime, like a voice from another time. You slip it into your pocket, alongside the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, arrowhead, bronze token, pottery shard, twisted root, red ribbon, tally stick, and wooden charm from earlier. Remember that statue you found in the paddy? Your pocket's a chronicle now, each trinket a piece of this world's quiet defiance. You joke to yourself that you're one bell away from starting an orchestra, or at least waking the village. The main event of this hour is the relentless pull of the fields. A reminder that even festival nights don't pause the farmer's life. The Han Dynasty depends on rice, and you're the one coaxing it from the earth. You've heard of the empire's granaries, vast storehouses that feed armies and cities, but they feel as distant as the moon. Your own harvest is a gamble. Too much rain, and it rots. Too little, and it withers. Tonight, you check the water levels, your hands guiding the flow through narrow channels. It's delicate work, almost meditative, but the stakes are high. A single mistake could mean hunger, not just for you, but for your family. A breeze stirs, carrying the faint sound of a flute from the village, a practice for the festival's music. You pause, letting the notes drift over you. Their melody fragile but haunting. The paddies shimmer under the moon, and for a moment, you're struck by their beauty, a sea of silver and shadow, alive with the earth's pulse. You wonder if the moon goddess, Chang'e, ever looks down on fields like these, or if she's too busy with her jade palace. You shake your head, refocusing on the task. The festival is a dream, but the paddies are your reality. Historians still debate whether the Han Dynasty's agricultural demands empowered farmers or enslaved them. Some say the system built a stable empire, with rice as its backbone. Others argue it trapped people like you in a cycle of labor and debt. You don't know the scrolls, but you feel the truth in the mud on your hands, the ache in your bones. The fields are both your livelihood and your chain, and you work them because stopping isn't an option. As you finish adjusting the water channels, you stand, stretching your stiff limbs. The air grows cooler, and you catch a whiff of something sharp, maybe wild herbs growing near the ditch. Your stomach grumbles, a reminder of the festival's promise, but the fields come first. You glance at the village, where lanterns glow like fireflies, their light a beacon in the dark. Surviving a day in Han China means balancing these moments, where the earth's demands meet the heart's hopes, and every task is a quiet act of endurance under the Empire's watchful eye. The moon hangs full and bright, its light casting a silver glow over the village, turning the rice paddies into a shimmering dreamscape. You've finished your work in the fields. The water channels set, the weeds pulled, and now you trudge home, your hoe heavy on your shoulder. The air is cool, laced with the scent of night-blooming flowers and the distant warmth of festival fires. You're a farmer in Han China, 100C, and the Mid-Autumn Festival is unfolding. But the weight of family and duty pulls you back to your small hut. The empire's demands, taxes, conscription, endless labor, fade for a moment, but the responsibilities of home are just as relentless. You reach your hut, its earthen walls modest but familiar, the roof thatched with straw that rustles softly in the breeze. Inside, the air smells of millet and wood smoke. And a single oil lamp flickers, casting shadows on the walls. Your family waits, your aging mother, her hands gnarled from years of work, and your younger siblings. Their faces lit with the excitement of the festival. They're stringing paper lanterns, their chatter a soft hum against the night. You set down your hoe, your body aching, and force a smile. "Missed the mooncakes yet?" you ask, your voice laced with gentle sarcasm. They laugh, but you feel the truth. Feeding this family is a battle no emperor could understand. You sit on a worn mat, the straw prickling through your thin clothes. Dinner is simple: boiled millet, a few greens from the market, and a rare treat, a small fish, caught from the nearby stream. Your mother serves it with care, her movements slow but precise, as if every grain is a treasure. You eat in silence, the flavors plain but grounding, each bite a reminder of the fields you've tended. The festival's joy feels distant here, overshadowed by the quiet math of survival. How much grain is left? How many coins for the next tax? How to stretch this meal to tomorrow? You mutter to yourself. The moon's free, at least. The irony curls your lips, a fleeting shield against the weight of duty. Something catches your eye, a small, cracked bamboo comb, left on a low table. You pick it up, its teeth worn smooth, probably your mother's from years ago. The Han values small crafts like this, even in humble homes, a touch of care in a world of toil. You set it down gently, your fingers brushing the table's rough wood. Your pocket, heavy with trinkets, the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, arrowhead, bronze token, pottery shard, twisted root, red ribbon, tally stick, wooden charm, and tiny bell from earlier, feels like a secret archive. Remember that statue you found in the paddy? Each piece is a fragment of this life, a quiet rebellion against its grind. You smirk, joking to yourself that you're one comb away from opening a market stall, or losing your mind. The main event of this hour is the unspoken burden of family, the heart of your world in Han China. The Confucian ideals you've heard, filial piety, loyalty to kin, aren't just philosophy. They're survival. Your mother's cough, your siblings' thin frames, the hut's leaky roof, they're your responsibility, as binding as any tax. You've heard of families selling land, even children, to pay debts, and the thought makes your stomach churn. The Han Dynasty's prosperity, its canals and armies, means little when your family's next meal is uncertain. You glance at your mother, her eyes tired but warm, and vow to keep this hut standing, no matter what the empire demands. A breeze slips through the open door, carrying the faint sound of festival music, a flute, a drum, the laughter of neighbors. You pause, letting the sounds paint a picture, lanterns glowing, children dancing, the moon watching over it all. It's a world you want to join, but duty keeps you here, rooted like the rice in your fields. You joke to yourself that if the emperor taxed love, your family would owe a fortune. The thought brings a faint smile, but it's heavy with the day's exhaustion. Historians still debate whether the Han emphasis on family strengthened society, or trapped individuals in cycles of obligation. Some say it fostered resilience, binding communities. Others argue it burdened the poor, tying them to debts and duties they couldn't escape. You don't know the scrolls, but you feel the truth in the weight of your mother's gaze, the hope in your siblings' voices. Family is both your strength and your chain, and you carry it with every step. As dinner ends, you help clear the bowls, your movements slow but deliberate. The air grows cooler, and you catch a whiff of something sweet, perhaps a neighbor's mooncake, a reminder of the festival outside. Your siblings beg to join the celebrations, and you nod, promising to follow soon. You step outside, the moonlight bathing the village in a soft glow, and take a moment to breathe. The hut, the fields, the empire, they all wait, but for now you're here, holding your family's world together. Surviving a day in Han China means carrying this love, this duty, through the hardship, one quiet moment at a time. The moon reigns over the night, its full, luminous face bathing the village in a silver glow that feels almost otherworldly. You step out of your hut, the cool air brushing your skin, scented with the sweet smoke of festival fires and the faint tang of rice wine. Your siblings scamper ahead, their laughter a bright thread in the darkness, eager for the Mid-Autumn Festival's heart. You're a farmer in Han China, 100C, your body weary from fields and family duties, but the festival's promise pulls you forward. The empire's weight, taxes, conscription, endless rules, fades for now, replaced by the glow of lanterns and the hope of a night unbound. You follow the path to the village center, where the festival unfolds like a living tapestry. Paper lanterns sway from bamboo poles, their warm light dancing on the faces of neighbors gathered in a loose circle. A drummer beats a slow, steady rhythm, while a flute weaves a melody that feels older than the dynasty itself. The air hums with voices, soft songs, and the clink of clay cups passed hand to hand. You catch a whiff of mooncakes, sesame, red bean, a hint of lotus paste, and your stomach stirs. Though you know such treats are beyond your means, you mutter to yourself, "The moon's free, but the cakes aren't." The sarcasm is light, a quiet jest to keep the night's magic intact. You find a spot near the edge of the crowd, your siblings already lost in a game of chase among the lanterns. The festival is a rare gift, a moment where the village forgets its burdens and turns to the heavens. You've heard the story of Chang'e, the moon goddess, told and retold tonight, her flight to the moon, her eternal watch over the world. The elders say the full moon is a time for gratitude, for family, for dreams to share what you have, even if it's just a bowl of millet or a song. You watch a group of women dance, their sleeves fluttering like wings, and feel a quiet warmth, a sense that, for now, the empire's grip has loosened. Something catches your eye, a small, folded paper crane, tucked into the grass near your feet. You pick it up, its creases delicate, likely crafted by a child for the festival. The Han love their paper arts, turning scraps into symbols of luck or prayer. You slip it into your pocket, alongside the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, arrowhead, bronze token, pottery shard, twisted root, red ribbon, tally stick, wooden charm, tiny bell, and bamboo comb from earlier. Remember that statue you found in the paddy? Your pocket is a museum of moments now, each piece a spark of this night's fleeting joy. You smirk, joking to yourself that you're one crane away from flying to the moon with Chang'e. The festival's peak is the main event, a communal act of defiance against the grind of Han life. The drummer picks up pace, and the crowd sways, some singing, others clapping. A few elders tossing rice into a small fire as an offering to the moon. You join in, your voice rusty but earnest, the song a simple ode to the harvest. The conscription notice, the tax official. The endless fields, they're still there, waiting, but tonight, they're drowned out by the music, the light, the shared breath of your village. You spot old Zhang, his usual scowl softened, sharing a cup of wine with a neighbor. Even he, it seems, can't resist the moon's pull. A breeze sweeps through, carrying the scent of burning cedar and sweet dough. You pause, letting the scene etch itself into you, the lantern's glow, the dancer's grace, the moon's steady gaze. It's beautiful, fragile, a reminder that life persists, even under the empire's shadow. You joke to yourself that if the emperor taxed joy, this festival would bankrupt him. The thought brings a faint smile, though it's tinged with the knowledge that dawn will bring the fields again. Historians still debate whether Han festivals like this were true communal bonds or brief escapes from systemic hardship. Some say they wove villages tighter, others argue they were fleeting, like moonlight on water. You don't know the scrolls, but you feel the truth in the song on your lips, the warmth of the crowd. This night is a fire, small but fierce, and you hold it close, knowing it won't last. As the music slows, you find your siblings, their faces flushed with excitement. You guide them through the crowd, dodging a tipsy uncle and a stray dog chasing crumbs. The air grows cooler, the lanterns burning low, and you catch a final glimpse of the moon, round and perfect. Your heart aches, not with sorrow but with something softer, a gratitude for this moment. This village, this life, however hard. Surviving a day in Han China means stealing these nights, where joy and hardship dance together, and you choose to keep dancing. The festival's glow lingers as you guide your siblings back to the hut, the moon still high, casting its silver light over the village. The air is cool, scented with the fading sweetness of mooncakes and the sharp tang of burned cedar from the festival fires. The music has softened, replaced by the soft shuffle of feet and the occasional burst of laughter from neighbors lingering in the night. You're a farmer in Han China, 100 CE. Your body heavy with the day's labor and the festival's fleeting joy. But as you near your hut, the warmth of stories by the hearth beckons, a quiet end to a relentless day. You settle inside, the hut's earthen walls glowing faintly under the flicker of an oil lamp. Your mother stokes a small fire, its crackle a gentle counterpoint to the night's stillness. Your siblings curl up on straw mats, their eyes bright despite the hour, eager for the tales that always follow a festival. The air smells of smoke and millet, grounding you in this small, fragile sanctuary. You sit cross-legged, your hands resting on your knees, and feel the weight of the day, taxes, conscription, the fields, settle into a quieter corner of your mind. You mutter to yourself, "The moon gets to rest, I don't." The sarcasm is soft, a whisper to keep the night's peace intact. Your mother begins a story, her voice low and steady, weaving a tale of the Yellow Emperor, a mythical ruler said to have tamed rivers and taught men to farm. It's a story you've heard before, but tonight it feels alive. Each word painting a world where heroes battled case. The Han loved their legends, tying the empire's glory to gods and ancestors. But as the fire crackles, the conversation shifts to darker whispers, tales of rebellion, of farmers who fled taxes or defied officials, only to vanish into the wilds. Old Zhang, visiting with a jug of rice wine, grumbles about the emperor's greed, his words bold in the hut's safety. You nod, feeling the spark of discontent, though you know speaking it aloud is a risk. Something catches your eye, a small, charred twig, fallen from the fire, its end curled like a dragon's claw. You pick it up, careful not to burn yourself, and turn it over in your hand. It's nothing special, just a piece of the night story, but the Han see signs in everything, fire, stars, even twigs. You slip it into your pocket, alongside the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, arrowhead, bronze token, pottery shard, twisted root, red ribbon, tally stick, wooden charm, tiny bell, bamboo comb, and paper crane from earlier. Remember that statue you found in the paddy? Your pocket's a tapestry now, each piece a thread of this world's hopes and fears. You smirk, joking to yourself that you're one twig away from writing your own epic, or starting a fire. The stories by the hearth are the night's main event, a quiet rebellion in themselves. The Han Dynasty's records you've heard praise the emperor as a son of heaven, but here, in the flicker of firelight, villagers speak truths the scribes would never write. Old Zhang tells of a distant uprising, crushed by the army, its leaders' names erased. Your mother counters with a tale of a farmer who tricked a tax collector with a false ledger, earning a rare laugh. These stories, half true, half myth, are a lifeline, a way to name the empire's weight without breaking under it. You listen, your heart stirred by their defiance, though you know dawn will bring the fields again. A breeze slips through the hut's open door, carrying the faint sound of a flute, a last echo of the festival. You pause, letting the scene sink in, the fire's glow, your mother's voice, the weight of shared secrets. It's a moment of communion, fragile but fierce, a reminder that your village endures, even under the emperor's shadow. You joke to yourself that if the emperor taxed stories, your hut would be a palace. The thought brings a faint smile, but it's heavy with the day's exhaustion. Historians still debate whether Han folklore fueled resistance, or merely softened the empire's grip. Some say stories like these knit communities, passing courage through generations. Others argue they were fleeting events, powerless against systemic oppression. You don't know the scrolls, but you feel the truth in the fire's warmth, the defiance in old Zhang's voice. These tales are your armor, and you carry them, knowing the empire listens for dissent. As the stories fade, your siblings yawn, their eyes heavy. You help your mother bank the fire, the embers glowing like stars in the dark. The air grows cooler, and you catch a whiff of something sharp, wild herbs, perhaps, growing near the hut. You step outside, the moonlight bathing the village in a quiet glow, and take a moment to breathe. The festival is over, the story's told, but the empire waits, as always. Surviving a day in Han China means holding these moments, where defiance and dreams flicker, keeping you whole until dawn. The night is deep now, the moon a silent sentinel casting its glow over the sleeping village. You stand outside your hut, the air cool against your skin, scented with the faint musk of earth and the dying embers of festival fires. The mid-autumn festival's music and laughter have faded, leaving only the soft chirp of crickets and the rustle of bamboo in the breeze. You're a farmer in Han China, 100C, your body worn from a day of fields, taxes, and fleeting joys. The stories by the hearth still echo in your mind, their mix of myth and rebellion a quiet fire in your chest. But as you gaze at the stars, a moment of reflection settles over you, heavy and clear. You sit on a low stone near the hut, its surface cold and smooth under your hands. The village is still, its lanterns dim, the festival's glow a memory now. Your pocket feels heavy with the day's finds, the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, arrowhead, bronze token, pottery shard, twisted root, red ribbon, tally stick, wooden charm, tiny bell, bamboo comb, paper crane, and charred twig. Each one is a piece of this world, a small defiance against its grind. Remember that statue you found in the paddy? It's more than a trinket now. It's a tether to the life you've lived today, a life of labor and love under the empire's unyielding gaze. You mutter to yourself, "Survive a day, and you're a hero." The sarcasm is gentle, a nod to the strength it takes to keep going. The stars glitter above, their patterns unchanged since the Han scholars mapped them, naming constellations to please the emperor's heavens. You've heard of their work, astronomers in Luoyang charting the skies, linking each star to the dynasty's fate. But here in your village, the stars are simpler, guides for planting, omens for rain, or just a quiet beauty to steal your breath. You lean back, your eyes tracing the Milky Way, and wonder what it's like to live for something beyond survival. The festival stories, of heroes, rebels, and gods, linger, reminding you that even farmers dream of more. You smirk, thinking the stars might outlast the emperor's tax collectors. Wouldn't that be a fine joke? Something catches your eye. A small, smooth pebble, glinting faintly in the moonlight near your foot. You pick it up, its weight cool and solid, its surface polished by years in the earth. The Han see meaning in stones, sometimes carving them into seals or charms. This one's plain, but it feels like a gift from the night, a final token of your day. You slip it into your pocket, joining the crowded collection. Your pocket's a saga now, each piece a chapter of this relentless, beautiful life. You joke to yourself that you're one pebble away from sinking, or maybe building a wall to keep the empire out. The main event of this quiet hour is your reflection, a rare pause to weigh the day's lessons. You've faced the field's demands, the tax official's greed, the conscription's shadow, and the festival's fleeting joy. You've carried your family's hopes, bowed to the earth god, and whispered defiance in stories by the fire. The Han Dynasty, you realize, is both a marvel and maroon, a machine of order that builds canals and crushes dreams. Yet your village endures, its people weaving resilience into every song, every ritual, every hard-won harvest. You're no scholar, but you feel the truth. Survival here is an act of quiet heroism, a refusal to break under the empire's weight. A breeze stirs, carrying the faint scent of wild mint from a nearby ditch. You close your eyes, letting the night wrap around you, the stars' steady light, the village's soft breath, the moon's gentle watch. It's a moment of peace, fragile but profound, a reminder that even in hardship, there's beauty to claim. You joke to yourself that if the emperor taxed starlight, you'd still find a way to steal a glance. The thought brings a faint smile, though it's tempered by the knowledge that dawn waits, with its fields and burdens. Historians still debate whether the Han Dynasty's rural life forged unbreakable communities, or merely delayed their collapse. Some say the farmers' resilience held the empire together. Others argue it masked a system that demanded too much, sowing seeds of unrest. You don't know the scrolls, but you feel the truth in your calloused hands, your heavy heart. Your village is a spark, burning bright against the dark, and you're part of its flame, however small. You stand, stretching your aching limbs, and take a final look at the sky. The air grows cooler, and you catch a whiff of something sharp, perhaps the last of the festival's incense, drifting on the wind. Your hut waits, your family asleep inside, and the fields loom beyond. Patient and unyielding, you step toward the door, the pebble in your pocket a quiet companion. Surviving a day in Han China means carrying these reflections, these small victories, into the night. Knowing the empire will test you again when the sun rises. The stars fade as the first hint of dawn brushes the horizon, a faint blush of pink against the deep indigo of night. You stand outside your hut, the cool air sharp against your skin, scented with the damp earth and the lingering trace of last night's festival fires. The village is silent, its lanterns extinguished. The Mid-Autumn Festival now a memory woven into the moonlight's glow. You're a farmer in Han China, 100C, your body heavy with the weight of yesterday, fields, taxes, family, and fleeting joys. A new day looms, and with it, the empire's unyielding rhythm, ready to test you again. You take a slow breath, your hands resting on the rough wooden frame of your hut's door. The pebble you found last night, smooth and cool, sits in your pocket alongside the clay figure, fish-shaped stone, arrowhead, bronze token, pottery shard, twisted root, red ribbon, tally stick. Wooden charm, tiny bell, bamboo comb, paper crane, and charred twig. Remember that statue you found in the paddy? It's the first of many relics. Each one a quiet testament to a day lived on the edge of survival. You mutter to yourself. Another day, another tax. The sarcasm is soft, a final shield against the grind that awaits. The horizon brightens, and you glance at the rice paddies, their stalks ghostly in the half-light, waiting for your hoe. The Han Dynasty's demands never pause: plant, harvest, pay, repeat. You've faced the tax officials' greed, the conscription's shadow, the weight of family, and the festival's fragile joy. Each moment has carved itself into you, like the notches on a tally stick. You think of the stories by the hearth, the defiance in old Zhang's voice, the moonlight on your siblings' faces. These are the threads that hold you together, even as the empire pulls at the seams. You smirk, imagining a tax on dawn itself. Wouldn't that be the Han way? Something catches your eye, a small, dewdrop-covered spiderweb, stretched between two stalks of grass near your hut. It glints in the early light, delicate and perfect, a tiny masterpiece untouched by the emperor's reach. The Han see omens in nature, and you wonder if this is a sign, resilience, perhaps, or just beauty for its own sake. You don't pick it up. Some things are better left free. Your pocket's full enough, a crowded archive of a day's struggles and small victories. You joke to yourself that you're one web away from leaving your own empire, or at least catching a break. The main event of this dawn is the simple, stubborn act of beginning again. The Han Dynasty, you've learned, is a machine of order and ambition, its canals and armies built on your sweat. Yet your village persists, its people carving out lives between the empire's demands. You're no hero, no scholar, But you're here, standing under a new sky, ready to face the fields. The conscription notice still looms, the taxes remain unpaid, and the harvest is never certain. But you've survived a day, its labor, its fears, its fleeting joys. That, you realize, is its own kind of victory, quiet but unyielding. A breeze stirs, carrying the faint scent of wet rice and wild herbs. You pause, letting the world settle around you, the paddy's soft rustle, the village's slow awakening, the first bird song piercing the dawn. It's a moment of clarity, a reminder that life, however hard, holds moments worth fighting for. You think of your mother's steady hands, your siblings' laughter, the festival's lanterns. These are your stars, guiding you through the empire's shadow. You joke to yourself that if the emperor taxed hope, you'd still find a way to smuggle some. The thought brings a faint smile, though it's tempered by the weight of what's to come. Historians still debate whether the Han Dynasty's farmers were its strength, or its sacrifice. Some say your resilience fueled an empire that lasted centuries. Others argue you were its fuel, burned to keep the machine running. You don't know the scrolls, but you feel the truth in your aching back, your calloused hands, your stubborn heart. Your life is a small spark, but it burns, and in its light, you see a world that endures, one day at a time. You turn back to the hut, grabbing your hoe from where it leans against the wall. The air grows warmer, and you catch a whiff of something familiar, millet, cooking inside. A promise of breakfast before the fields. Your family stirs, their voices a soft hum, and the village begins to wake, its rhythm as steady as the sun's climb. You step toward the paddies, the earth cool under your feet, and lift your hoe. A new day begins, with its burdens and its beauties, and you meet it as you always have, with quiet defiance, a pocket full of trinkets, and the strength to survive. And now, dear listener, as the dawn of Han China fades into the mists of time, you can close your eyes and let the currents of time take you away. Let the soft rustle of rice stalks, the warmth of a village hearth, and the gentle weight of a farmer's resilience carry you into a dream. The empire's demands, the field's endless call, they slip away, leaving only the quiet glow of a life lived fully. One moment at a time. Rest now, under the same stars that watched over you, knowing that history, like a river, flows on, ready to share its secrets when you wake.